Why? How did I get elected leader? What did I
Because
lose a
you
bet?
said,
Did you guys have
hey,
a podcast without me and decide this or something?
no,
You
you said, hey, I want to have a podcast. So we were like, okay.
And then I seem to recall Mike said, I am the leader.
Yeah, you're the Arnie Niekamp of this Magic Tavern.
None of this sounds familiar, but
It happened.
maybe if I go back into the drunken state that I spend most of my life in,
There you go.
I don't know what happened.
Another Mike comment. The reason for three of us is two can vote and come to an agreement
Yes.
and override the third person.
Okay, all right. Hey, everybody, welcome to the second episode. None of us thought we'd make it, but here we are. By that I mean 2019, not episode 2. There was never any doubt of that, but we somehow survived 2018. That definitely, I think, earns us a drink or two. And
That's an accomplishment.
yes. Oh, by the way, you might be hearing a new voice here in the background. It is. Come on, you can do it. Who are you? Introduce yourself.
I am Kevin.
That's right. We found Kevin. I am still Mike, and over there somewhere.
I am Jerry.
Cool. All right, Kevin. Since you're
Skippy,
the
Mike, which one is it?
He's Skippy.
it
Skippy.
depends.
He-
Fine.
he-
I'll just be Skippy or
he
Mike. It doesn't
seems-
matter.
Yeah.
I think I'm
Trust
more
me.
comfortable with Skippy.
I saw him going for a drink before. He's definitely Skippy.
Oh, not cool, man. Too soon. All right. Not ready to discuss that reference yet on the show, but maybe at some point we can talk about why I have to hop around the house. So, Kevin, since you're new here, you get the honors of telling everybody what you're drinking or have been drinking.
My go-to is some big bottle of vodka with some Red Bull. That's pretty typical.
Do you pour it in a glass?
Yes.
No, he has one of those funnel hats. He puts the vodka bottle in one half and the Red Bull in the other, and he just drinks it through a straw.
I would need several Red Bull bottles to match the vodka bottle.
Sounds like you got the whole night planned out. All right, Jerry, what are you drinking?
Right now, I'm just drinking whiskey, straight whiskey. I have Basil Hayden's Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Earlier this evening, I was drinking, what was it? Canadian whiskey. With,
so shitty whiskey. Okay.
Yeah, shitty whiskey, but it was with Pepsi. So
Canadian apparently equals generic.
yeah, this is the good stuff. So this is the stuff that you drink straight, and the other shit was a mixer.
Yeah, I've never heard of that, so I'm assuming it's good because I have I'm not classy enough to drink any sort of classy liquor.
It actually is pretty good. Our friend brought it by a couple weeks ago, and it's tasty. It's good. It's smooth.
Nice. And speaking of having no class, I am drinking Stoli with cola. Now, Kevin and I were talking earlier about this, and apparently the combination of vodka and cola is not a thing, and it's something just people like me in the South are taking a chance on. But, Kevin, I looked it up, and vodka and cola is a thing, but you are right in the fact that it's considered to be not something you order at a classy establishment.
Well, forget about classy. I've never heard somebody walk up to a bar and say, I'll have a vodka and Coke.
No, I told you have to do it in a more classy way. You walk in and you kind of fling your hair back and you say, I'll take a Stoli on the rocks with just a splash of Coke. And then they throw you out. But
honestly, the way I see it is, if you enjoy the way it tastes, who gives a fuck? I mean, I will drink...
that's a positive kind of shit I don't want to hear on this podcast. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I want to bring up the fact that the last episode was all hopeful and way too positive, and no, that ends right now.
That's
Well,
funny.
we did talk about Kevin's dead, murdered body. I mean, that doesn't sound too hopeful.
That was certainly morbid.
Yeah. You heard that. We discussed multiple ways in which your body can be cut up and disposed of.
Yeah. I was explaining to my wife, her first impression was, old men complaining about their wives. And I said, no, we all love our wives. Like, that's not at all what this is about.
That's a different podcast. We have completely different aliases for that one.
Exactly. I said,
there I am definitely Skippy.
We wouldn't tell you about that.
No, I said we happen to be friends with our wives, or at least this isn't the place for it. But no, it was a lot more positive than negative, and so that was a conversation. But like we just talk about whatever, right?
Yeah, well, now that you're here, it can be very negative. Now that now that you've turned up alive, I have to figure out what I'm going to do with all these pigs that I rented. All right, so as I was saying before, we have a huge list of things we are never going to get to. So I don't even know where to begin at this point. I was so angry about a lot of things, but
so let's start it on a not so angry term. You're talking about what we're drinking. Earlier, I was mixing with Coke, or Pepsi. You're mixing with Pepsi. But so.
Oh, no. Let's just get this on the open. I'm not mixing with Pepsi. I am mixing it with Sam's Cola.
Oh, wow.
Because when drinking good Stoli vodka.
You're lower class than I thought you were.
Founded in.
It founded. Since if it was founded in 1991, behind a dumpster.
Oh, and I wanted to say in your defense, Red Bull vodka is a fancy way of saying flavored soda and vodka.
See, I can't drink Red Bull with any. Well, I just hate the taste of Red Bull. I can't stomach it.
Oh no, this isn't normal Red Bull.
It's the Sam's Red Bull from.
No.
It's like on my cola.
It's the summer edition, but then I'm doing the blue, which is like the blueberry or blackberry version.
As opposed to the red or the purple or the fuchsia? Like what?
Red Bull.
Red Bull started with that like little cartoon commercial and, like a dude flapping off with wings. And it was a very distinctive.
Oh, you said flapping off. I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
But was it ever red? I've never seen Red Bull.
It is red, isn't it?
Original is sort of an orange.
Oh, okay.
Like orangey type of thing.
So then why isn't it Orange Bull?
Right. But since then, there's Red Bull Red.
Notice how you dodged that question completely.
Red Bull Blue, and then now they've gone into like seasonal. So there's a summer version and a winter version. I don't like the winter version, which is sort of plum and stuff. But summer is like a coconut something. I don't remember. That one's kind of nice, actually. It's kind of like
coconut Red Bull. Oh my god! I just threw up in my mouth.
Do they serve that in bathrooms?
I like that summer coconut, whatever it is, and then the blue, which is some kind of berry.
Oh my god. Okay. Let's move away from all of that as quickly as possible.
So no, I want my question answered. Okay, last week there was a local newscast where this, the woman that gets sent out on assignments goes to whatever various place, and she went to some place where it was a whiskey house kind of thing. They specialize in whiskey, and they were mixing with bitters and stuff like that. So, like, other than shitty Sam's Cola or Pepsi, like, what are the things that you mix this stuff with? Because I've never really considered going out and buying a bottle of bitters or whatnot, just something that you could put a few drops of
in whiskey.
Yeah, do you
vermouth?
Do that?
Yeah, well, I mean, my favorite drink happens to be a Manhattan, which I think I've mentioned before, and in that case you mix, typically it's turkey, and you mix it with vermouth and bitters, and then you can add like a little slice of orange or something like that. You can add a little bit of citrus thing to give it a little zing. But again, as somebody who partakes in Sam's Cola, I'm not overly picky, and sometimes I just mix vermouth with any kind of bourbon or whiskey that I can find. Supposedly, you're only supposed to use Turkey Hill. Did I say Turkey Hill? That's ice cream. Okay, do not put Turkey Hill in vermouth. Good Lord. Ooh.
I could just
wait. No, I know.
Like,
I know.
What do I mix with this? Oh, let me just piss in this cup a little bit and put some whiskey in it.
Maybe that's what I've been doing wrong this whole time. This Manhattan tastes funny. I think this Turkey Hill's gone bad.
I have to say, Mike, like, you're focusing on the vermouth. Every dirty martini I've ever had, I've like absolutely cross out vermouth. Do not give me vermouth. It's funny.
What's vermouth?
The vermouth?
Okay, so you just don't like the vermouth. Oh, I mean, that makes sense. All right. You can actually drink it straight. In fact, if I remember correctly, my wife was telling me
That's what I'm doing. Oh, vermouth.
Yeah, vermouth is something that I think women used to just drink. Like, you used to go to your grandma's house and she, with her hand shaking, used to serve you a nice little glass of vermouth. And you drink it to make grandpa happy, right? No, we had very different childhoods. Why is everyone in my family an alcoholic?
If you're making grandpa happy, I'm a little bit worried there.
I think that's what grandma's shaking hand is for.
Oh, my childhood wasn't like that at all.
You didn't have a happy grandfather?
No, I had angry grandfathers.
Oh, I had I had Russian grandfathers, so my grandfather got me drunk when I was 7 years old.
That's interesting. No, mine, I didn't interact with my grandfather, but yeah, they drank a lot, whatever. That was Italian side.
Okay.
German Italian. It was like a mix.
Oh, you had all the Axis powers represented there. Very nice.
Yep.
Okay, so Kevin noticed something and that he brought up before the podcast, and this is, I think, why we have 3 people, because maybe we can have a disagreement on this. I still have my Christmas tree up with the lights on and everything.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Oh, my goodness.
So you guys gave me shit because I explained the way we do it is we put it up really late in the season. Me and my wife have this little tradition where we set it up and decorate it a couple of days before Christmas, but then we leave it on for a really long time because it's nice. It's nice. You turn on the lights and turn on the Christmas lights, and it makes the whole house nice and cozy. So until the tree dies, is there any reason where it is like falling apart and you have needles everywhere? Is there any reason you have to throw it out? Is this some weird tradition in this country that I'm not aware of?
No. So my wife thinks that like a week or so after, it should be out by the curbside. But honestly, I agree with you, Skippy. I think it's nice. I mean, the December, January, it gets dark at like 4 o'clock. It sucks. It's depressing. You get seasonal affective disorder. And that like tree and the Christmas lights and whatever is what it adds a little joy to the season for sounding campy, I guess. I would like to keep it up for a lot longer, but she gets weird about it, and she thinks that, she agrees with most people, I guess, and says it should be out by like a week. There are some people that put it up on Christmas Eve and toss it the day after Christmas, which is just ridiculous. As far as I see, it seems wasteful too. Yes.
It's also the fact that we put up a tree because we generally like it. If you like something, you can do it up. Now, granted, I'm not that person who, when you visit their house in August and they have a brown tree and a bunch of needles on the floor, that's a little weird. Yeah. But while it's green, I think ours is still green. Yeah, it's still green.
I agree. We usually cut ours down. We go to some place where you could cut your tree down and it lasts longer. So it lasts like a month and a half. I would keep it up as long as possible. I just like the way it looks. So I kind of agree with you there.
Well, I expect it to be ridiculed, so this won't work. Sorry. Okay, well, that's all.
Well, that's why we have Kevin here. Okay, Kevin, ridicule him. Or us.
Well, you know what it is? Like, a lot of people talk about, after Thanksgiving, put it up, and then you get through Christmas. But I grew up more close to, the kids don't have any tree until, like, they wake up on Christmas. So parents stay up all night putting up a tree, decorating it, putting all the presents out, and it's like, oh my God, wake up. But in terms of how long you keep it, it should only be a couple of weeks into January, not meaning whatever. That's what we did, 2 or so weeks.
Let me understand this. In addition to all the presents that Santa's cramming down the chimney, he's also putting a whole fucking tree down there?
How spoiled are your children? They're not happy enough with the fact that this guy brings them presents. He also has to bring them a tree and decorate it.
Or does he put that? Is the tree like? Does he keep that in oh shit, what is it? Fuck. Does he put that
in the sleigh?
No. Shit.
Let's just say that was a previous phase of my life.
Do you tell him that Santa pays the mortgage as well? All right. This is why I don't have children. I don't have to lie to them about everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then of course the scenario I'm talking about is the previous wife, and so that was a different world.
Oh, you can't blame your previous wife. That's not fair.
He just did.
It's
Ah,
And
well,
that's
well
what
played.
the previous
See, this
wife
is why
was
we have
for.
3 people. He says something, I disagree, you back him up. I am overruled. I'm gonna go sulk in the corner under my goddamn Christmas tree.
That's
This
the whole
year-
reason
this
why you
year
have a starter wife. Is
This
to
year-
blame shit on.
Hey, wait! I told my wife we don't talk about wives, but
Correct.
I guess ex-wives is okay.
Your current wife.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can't talk about
exactly.
your current wife. Okay.
Yeah, ex-wife.
Well,
That's fine.
this year I told my ex-wife that I wasn't doing much for the Christmas time because that's not my thing, and so that's a whole new story. So let's not engage in that. But essentially, it has
We'll save
to
that
do
for
with
episode 3.
yeah, right, okay, but so anyway, Christmas trees long into January is an odd thing to me.
All right. So a couple of things I wanted to mention. I think we got some feedback for the first episode that I wanted to address. The first was that.
What was it? Wait, can I stop you right here?
Sure.
Someone other than the 3 of us listened to the first episode?
Okay, so some of the feedback was internal, and some of the feedback was.
Okay.
I think
just checking.
And my wife listened to some of it, and apparently one of the more common things I heard was that, first of all, we don't sound old. Like, the podcast is called Old Men Yell at Podcast, but we don't sound very old. So I just want to clarify that I am personally in my 40s, so thank you for saying that I sound young, but I don't think 40 is kind of young. It's that weird age where you're not, like, old enough where people feel bad for you and take care of you, but you're not young where you're, like, cool and hip. You're just sort of like this middle-aged loser who looks weird and when you go out in public.
We're old at heart. I went on a job interview today, and I was
we're
asked,
old and hard?
Yeah. Old and
I wish.
at heart. No. When you're old, you're not hard. I went on a job interview today, and one of the questions was, how do you deal with millennials?
Oh,
So-
wow. That is a horrible, terrifying
Wow,
question to
that
hear.
was an interview question?
Yes, that was an interview
I'm
question.
impressed. I've had to do interviews and I've studied the topic.
Yes,
That is
so
an interesting question.
I feel that makes me, quote unquote, old. So.
Well, so since I work in a marketing department, we kind of discussed that question over and over again. And it's actually kind of weird because our salespeople are older, they're my age or older, and then I'm like sort of in the middle, and then we actually have millennials in the company. So they're in the room as they're basically talking about them, and it's like, so how do we talk to millennials? And they're like, we can hear you. We're sitting right here. Why don't you ask us? Maybe we have some input. And they're like, whoa, youngin, you just sit right there and be quiet. We'll figure this out without you.
Were they listening to you guys, or were they just tapping on their phones?
Oh, the millennials?
Yes.
Oh no, I don't think millennial. No, isn't dude. The phones are old school, man. That's what old people use.
Oh,
Millennials.
So what have millennials moved on to?
I don't know. Tide Pods? No, that's the younger generation. I don't know. Something about the Birdbox challenge. I forget people are
my
walking
God.
into trap.
No.
Don't fucking. Dude, I watched that movie, okay?
Oh, you finally-
We spoke
I'm so
about
glad.
it. I watched it, and it was so bad.
Wait.
How did you say that was okay? How did
wait.
you say that was acceptable?
Okay, so let's rewind that. Yes, we first started talking about the movie in the last episode. Kevin, I don't know if you heard that part, but I clearly said it was not a good movie. I just said I went into it with really low expectations.
No,
And
you said, I didn't mind it. It was okay.
I didn't mind it. It was
Wait,
okay.
wait.
It sucked.
You went into a good 15-minute segment about Signal, and then I forgot the name of the other one. But you were like, I hated Signal.
You
But
mean
no,
Sign.
dude, we're talking about we're talking about
Yes.
movies, not apps.
Yes.
No, he's confusing.
No, the
he's,
movie.
There's no movie called. No, there is a movie called Signal, but we weren't talking about. I think you're confusing
Yes.
Signs and
Signs, you're right.
A Quiet
Oh,
Place.
okay.
Signs and A Quiet Place. Yes, you're
Yes.
right. Absolutely. And you were comparing Signs being horrible and A Quiet Place being, I don't know, I forget exactly what you said, but
I
you
was
were
not a
kind
fan.
of
I did not like
yeah.
it.
And then you said this one was okay. So
Yeah, but I drew a clear line and I said, okay, so the problem was that when I went into A Quiet Place, I heard a lot of really good things about it, so I expected it to be very good, and it did not meet those expectations. However, with Bird Box, it's an original Netflix movie, so I just assume it's hot garbage. And when it
Which it
was
was.
when it turned out to be lukewarm garbage, I was pleasantly surprised.
No, dude, that
That's a
was the
typical.
fucking Lost smoke monster regurgitated,
That's a,
okay? And like the fucking
You have to make a Lost comparison in every episode because you know how much I hate Lost and you know how it gets me wound up and I get angry about it.
It
Lost,
sucks.
no, people should have been killed for Lost.
And I feel like that would be justified for Bird Box. First of all, the Bird Box never actually came into play.
Wait, what? It came into play multiple times.
No, it didn't. No, the Bird Box that they have, all that they had, spoiler warning, okay, all that happened to it was dunked in the fucking water. And at the very end, they kind of said, "Oh, birds do X, Y, and Z,"
No, no,
and
no,
they were
no,
like,
no.
"Oh,
Remember when they were floating down the river and some guy was telling them to take, by the way, spoilers, the guy was telling them to take off their blindfold and he was like, oh, come here with your children. Everything will be okay. And the birds were going nuts in the box. That's how she knew it was one of the,
no, she was gonna murderize that guy anyway, dude. What the fuck? No, no, the whole thing sucked, and like the twist at the end where like
spoilers.
she meets
okay,
someone
just
that
the
she
whole
knew.
section of this whole segment is spoilers.
Yeah, skip ahead like 90 seconds if you don't want to like ruin fucking it's 2 hours of your life that you'll get back, trust me, if you listen to it. I mean, where she like meets someone from her previous life. I mean, the whole thing sucked.
Okay,
The
so it's
only
unanimous. We all agree that Bird Box was pretty much okay. Moving on to another topic that I wanted
Wait,
to
how
talk
about we
about really
talk about
quick.
good Netflix originals like Altered Carbon or something like that?
That's a show.
that's
Their
yes,
shows
but
are
that's
good.
not the
Their
point of
movies
this
are bad.
podcast, dude.
That was a,
The
oh,
po-
you're right. That was
that was
episodes.
good.
What I wanted to mention really quick
It's
before
not old men like praise at podcast.
Oh, it's bitch at bad stuff. Got it.
would have made for a much better title. What I was going to say is the second thing that we all, I think, agreed on was that the last episode was way too long. Even after editing it down, it came in way too long. So we're going to try to keep this one to a more manageable length. And I have to say right now, we're failing miserably at that.
Oh, you have
Well,
a lot of editing to do.
yeah, or we'll record like 18 episodes tonight.
Actually, that's fine. All right, so speaking of things that are horrible that only one person likes, let's talk about Fallout 76. This is the game that Kevin, yeah, you knew this was coming. Don't even give me that look. I just refilled on my vodka and Coke, so I'm ready to do battle. So I want to make this clear. You didn't buy this game. You pre-ordered this game, which I already gave you shit for previously.
Yes, I did.
And so you
I did
pre-ordered
not
it.
buy
Wait,
$100-something canvas level.
oh,
I'll
you
just-
mean where
I'll just be-
where they mailed a trash bag with
The
Bethesda
little-
logo on it to
the
people?
little plastic bag? Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I
Jared,
did
you
not
heard
buy
about-
that.
Do you remember those when you got those like 30 years ago when you bought a game and it had like a cloth map to it? There was something enjoyable about that, and I could understand them trying to capitalize on that. So obviously the target audience is people our age that grew up playing shit like Bard's Tale, where you got
Yes, but the problem is they lied. They showed you pictures of this cool canvas bag that you get if you pre-order this horrible piece of shit game, and then they literally sent you like a sack made out of plastic with
Yeah.
their logo on it.
Well,
And
no,
what's worse than that is that they sent the actual bag to a bunch of YouTube influencers so that they could get on their little YouTube channels and parade around with this thing showing, look at this awesome thing that Bethesda sent us. But that's not what they sent to people who actually paid money for it.
oh,
Yeah, it was
I didn't
hard.
know that.
I totally agree with you. From a marketing perspective, someone in Bethesda doesn't have their finger on the pulse of spend that little extra to get that canvas bag, because the people that paid double a premium game to get a little dopey bag. I'm in sales and marketing stuff, and I've seen the cost of stuff like that. It's not, like I understand trying to reduce and find the cheapest level stuff, but they could have avoided so much negative press
It
on
was
this
a
kind of
horrible it was a horrible marketing stunt, but I want to just come out right and say this. If you pre-order any game, you deserve nothing but a smoking hot turd mailed to you in a box.
Well, did they put that in a bag?
Yeah.
Like, was that what was
I
in the bag?
People that pre-order video games, you're a special group that will. There's a special place in hell for people like you.
I should know.
Yes, you pre-ordered a game.
And
You
I
should know.
will
You're
admit
right.
it. There was a part of me that was like, I don't care what happens with this game, I want to do it. So I bought it. But I have had some shitty experiences. I bought Brink, pre-ordered Brink for some stupid reason. I must have been
Brink's the indie game.
No, it was some stupid
I was
first
thinking of Braid. Never mind.
in Steam. And it literally didn't work on my computer at the time. This was a couple of years ago.
Wait, you pre-ordered a game that didn't even work on your computer?
I never played that game.
At least he learned from it.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No, so it was and it tanked. Like it seriously tanked.
Well, yeah, a game that doesn't work. Why would it be successful?
Well, that was my personal experience, but whatever. It just tanked, and I don't think it was about it didn't work thing. But anyway,
I just think I keep
agree
hearing
with
nothing but horror stories about pre-ordering. First of all, because I don't understand why people have this weird urge to pay money to beta test a game for a huge company that doesn't feel like doing it themselves. And why would you? Okay, first of all, many times if you pre-order, you're going to pay more for it. Second of all, like I said, you're getting an unfinished product. And third of all, you're basically just taking a chance on, especially this day and age when so many games are shipped incomplete. I don't
It's
understand
called
why people
early
continue.
access. You're helping to make and shape the game.
In this case, I'm going to argue the benefit of a Fallout series game, right? So horrible critic reviews and all this other stuff, but they were all sort of like campy. Oh, we expect this kind of thing from a multiplayer Fallout experience. But for me, I like the genre or the story behind. You know, it's post-apocalyptic with
The setting is great.
the
I
setting
agree. Yes.
is awesome to me. So I've played a couple of the series and whatever, and at the end of the day, I was like, all right, this is the one I'm going to focus on. I missed a couple of the last Fallout 3, Fallout 4, and so on.
Wait, you didn't play Fallout 3 or you did?
I played little bits of it, but it's just like circumstance of life didn't allow me to play a lot of it or whatever. So to me, it was just a.
You can say it. It was your ex-wife, wasn't it? It's
No.
okay.
No. It's just like
Alright.
whatever. It was like life didn't give me schedule to play it. So in this game, I find myself.
I want to hear about this dark period of your life, but go ahead. We'll come back to that.
No. So at the end of the day, this game is addictive. Like, yes, there's flaws. There's duping going on. That's the latest news.
Wait,
And
duping?
there's
It's like a
people-
lame version of doping? Or?
No, they're duplicating like high-end weapons and stuff. That's the latest stuff. If you read the articles about it, if you're keeping up with it, but it clearly already gave up on the game.
Oh no, I made my judgment well ahead of time. I'm sticking to it with very little evidence.
No, but one of the classic personal benchmarks for games is an hour per dollar you spend. If you can play that many hours in a game, then it was worth your investment.
Oh, I get it. No, I love making
worth it for me.
For Fallout 76, I've played well over 100 hours. So to me, I mean, in terms of Steam, there's a lot of indie games or whatever I haven't gotten the chance to play. And so, in a sense, if I bought a game for $5, yeah, that's cheap. But if I never played it, it was a waste. But Fallout 76, I've played double the amount of dollars I've played in it in hours. So to me, that was way more worth it than one of these indie games that I theoretically intend to play someday.
Carry the 2 divided by 4. I think I understand that, but I'm working on it.
No, it's a good estimate if a game is worth it if you play a number of hours worth $1.
I understand that.
After you turn off the game and you update your Excel spreadsheet on how much you loved it, you can figure out your enjoyment level. Okay, fair enough.
I like it.
All right, so right now, what we again clarified so far was that Birdbox was pretty good and Fallout 76 sucks. Moving right along.
Yes.
Yes. So I have here in the notes, actually, because this was brought up last time, Gloomhaven, which I swore I would never bring up again. But it is from what I hear, a really great game. And Kevin, you play it pretty regularly, don't you?
Yes. Well,
actually, you spent like a whole long weekend playing it with people, right?
My gaming sessions for board games like that tend to be burst marathons. So maybe 2 or 3 times a year I get to play like several days of nonstop, and I happen to have my own minions, aka kids, that are of the age.
Do you paint them yellow and put little arrow on them? That'd be adorable.
But my point is, like,
I would totally do that if I had kids.
But there's an awesome relationship with my kids to be able to sit down and play some board games like this. And there's certain games, like Gloomhaven being one of them, that take 5 hours. They say maybe I think the Gloomhaven says 30 minutes per player, but double that.
That's per turn.
Total?
I think, yeah.
Is it per turn?
It's somebody who is grossly into the learning curve and has established like understanding of the game. So
yeah, that doesn't take into effect any kind of analysis paralysis or whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. And then subtract setup, which is a half an hour to an hour, unless you're again experienced and you know what you're doing. But just for example, there's a ton of different monsters or whatever to be dealing with any particular scenario, and so you're talking about these little cardboard cutout tokens, and just to find them all and sort through them could take 15 minutes. Like, so reality is setup is time, play, and then just getting everything set up on your table is time. And then when you finally get into the play, yes, okay, it could be 30 minutes per player. And then in the very beginning, it could be double that. Wow. So what happened was I had my kids for the winter vacation, and we played an incredible marathon of probably 15 hours per day for 3 days, let's say. And then there was a couple of broken up days in between. So we're probably 8 to 10 sessions into it. And that's, 1 week and a half of playing. But the game itself is coming from Descent, which is another similar type of game.
A dungeon crawl kind of thing.
Yeah, right. Like,
okay,
so
Jerry, I have to ask: are you beating something to death in your under your table?
No, I'm sorry. I have a rabbit under here, and he's.
Why are you hitting it with a hammer?
Because that's what you do with rabbits. Wait, haven't you asked to eat my rabbit like 17 times already?
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe
your rabbit. That's what I was doing.
Visited me, you'd be able to eat my rabbit. Here I will say this now in front of everyone. If you come and visit me, if you get your ass here, I will let you eat my rabbit.
Just call him Thumper.
Eat him. You can like fucking shave him and put him in a pot and cook him on my fucking stove. That rabbit is yours.
I think you're painting me in a very bad light here to imply that I would come over and eat your rabbit, when in reality I would just come over and probably just make sweet, sweet love to it.
No, you wouldn't do any of that because you wouldn't come over. I've asked you plenty of times. I've said, hey, come here. And you always have some excuse not to come and visit.
Because I don't think you're actually going to let me eat your rabbit.
I can't get a flight out there, or oh, it's snowing and it's too bad, or and like all this other, like fucking get your ass out here. I have a bed for you. I have, like come and visit.
Wow,
Come
a
and visit.
rabbit.
We'll play games.
A rabbit and a bed. I can say
Yeah,
no to that.
exactly. He's fat too. He's chubby. Well, I think he's chubby. He's got a lot of hair. He's probably pretty tasty. So, I think you should totally go for it.
Good Lord. Okay, so again, Kevin, since you weren't here yesterday, I'm going to try to go through a couple of notes that you made here. We all this year have had quite a few reasons to be pissed off at Google, from what I understand, for very different reasons, though. I have mine, and I can get to it in a few minutes, but you really taking this whole them killing off their inbox client very personally. Have you found a replacement yet, by the way? I know you were scouting.
I have currently settled in, and yes, to confirm what you're talking about, I am pissed off.
Oh, I agree with you.
End.
Oh, I'm with you.
That
dude.
they are killing inbox.
They've been killing a lot of really quality stuff lately. It's really making me angry.
I agree with you, and we'll get to another part of that in a second, but the inbox app in particular and the website, I have spent hours, days worth of time trying to figure out how to duplicate that user interface, and it is impossible. Now, that said, an app on the phone, in my opinion, the two key things that come down to it is it even at work it matters, because when you think
use
about
inbox for your work email?
No, but just so let's step up to like 30,000 feet. Look at how you use email. So on your phone and your personal email, you're looking at like whatever kind of spam and bullshit you get, and then at work you're doing maybe the similar kind of thing. But at the end of the day, you're going to skim through your email and you're going to find the important stuff and you want to highlight it. And then like the rest of it is junk, where there's a concept about zero inbox, right? And I used to have this philosophy. I wanted to check every email and either delete it or move on or something.
Oh, it took me years to get over that level of paranoia. I used to be the same way until I just forced myself to ignore that.
Right. And when inbox came around, I went, oh my God, this is genius. Because all I would do is be like, oh, I care about that, and I'd pin it. And then what the term is sweep. I would click the little checkbox and it would sweep everything away. I'd be like, fuck the rest of the world. And to me, in that interface is genius, and now they're going to get rid of it. Like, WTF, what the fuck?
So did you find a replacement yet or no?
So to me, what I had to do was, the first thing is, how can you, in an app, select all? Because essentially sweep is sweep the rest or all of it, right? So you want to highlight stuff and then sweep and delete the rest, or archive, or whatever it is. So on a fundamental level, it's surprising how many apps don't let you select all, including, by the way, Gmail. You cannot select all in Gmail.
I have like 7,000 unread messages in my inbox in Gmail.
Well, we were just talking about how some people have that zero inbox mentality, which is absolutely just...
Yeah, I can't do that.
I gave up on that a while ago.
But Inbox solved it and made it super easy, even for not the zero inbox mentality, but everybody else.
Can I admit that I probably haven't used inbox for more than 7 minutes in my life? Yeah.
I thought you were a user. Damn it.
No, I am not a user.
Oh my God, I'm watching heartbreak happen right in front of me. All of a sudden, oh no!
I solved you.
The
Kevin.
Romance is over.
But
anyway, what I use now
is that.
Oh my God, this is like that time that Jerry found out that your wife was suddenly using an iPhone, and he was just like, "Good Lord, who are you people? What the hell's that Apple logo doing in your house?"
Really? Jerry's wife using an iPhone?
No,
Kevin,
your wife, dude.
Oh, you said Jerry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I mean, I'm sorry.
I knew that. I knew it was coming. My wife.
I was trying to say that Jerry had that look of disappointment on his face when he saw that you got your wife an iPhone.
Oh no, I didn't get her. I don't control my wife's phone. She has been complaining about an Android. I think she had a 6P or whatever it was.
The Huawei.
No,
Yeah,
no.
6P. Yeah, it was called the Nexus 6P by Huawei. I can't tell if you're frozen or you're thinking about
No,
it.
something's
Or maybe you had a stroke. Either way, somebody call 911.
Anyway, so she had an Android, and she did it. She broke her iPhone. She had to buy it flat out, and so she bought.
Oh, she had an iPhone before.
Yeah, and bought it full out because it was the cheapest she could do.
I think you divorced the wrong person. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So she got the Android, and then she hated it for 2 years, and she suffered through it.
I stand by my statement. Go on. Okay.
So then she has been looking forward to getting.
Why didn't she get one of those fancy Windows phones? I hear all those are taken off.
So she
could
finally
have a better phone or a better wife. Either way, you had so many options, and you chose poorly in every possible way.
So she reverted back to iPhone finally with an iPhone X, the bigger one.
But you still talk to her, and that's awesome. That makes you the better person. So
it was definitely one of those agree to disagree moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I threatened to get my wife an iPhone, and she threatened to leave me. She legitimately, she played with it, and she said, if you get this for me, I mean, that's it. There's this really cute guy I still talk to from college, and I'm just gonna give him a call on this new fancy iPhone.
I didn't know your wife in college.
Womp womp. Okay, hang on a second. I have to go straighten something out with her real quick. I'm completely unrelated issue. I'll be right back.
My company is an iPhone company, and I am, a little nerdy myself, so I get close enough to the IT manager who manages phones to be one of two people to have an Android, which is him and I. And I'm still on a Samsung Galaxy S7, and I'm desperate for a new phone, and it's impossible to convert because I either accept the current generation of iPhone or wait until he has an opportunity to help me out with an Android. So it's like,
wow,
it's very frustrating. My glass is cracked out of this very odd little thing, and it's slow as molasses, which by the way,
that's such a first world problem. Yes. I have a Samsung S7 Galaxy S7 active, and yes, it's slow as fuck. But until I get a new job, I can't actually buy a new phone. It's slow as fuck.
So I have a suggestion.
The reason is...
No, the problem is you guys... No, the reason is you guys keep going for these overpriced flagship phones. See, I have a Motorola here, G5S Plus. It cost me only 3 magic beans, and it's working great. I'm serious. You guys have to stop buying these overpriced flagship phones.
Wait. My company got me this phone. I paid $0.
No, I bought this phone, so yeah, that's on me. But anyway, it's nice because it's relatively bulletproof. It had a good battery, 3 years ago when charging it 17,000 times didn't kill the fucking battery.
Yeah, but who cares that it's bulletproof? It's never going to have to stop a bullet, but it will have to open up a couple of apps from time to time. So it can stop a bullet, but it can't run a Gmail. Who cares?
Well, I have dropped it multiple times, and it's got a couple of dents in it, and if it was an iPhone, it would have been cracked. The whole screen would have been spidered. So, you know what? In that case, it's served its purpose.
Totally agree with you. One thing I've learned over 3 generations of Samsung.
Agree with me, don't you? Didn't you read the podcast?
No.
Go on.
Interesting thing, Samsung is one of those companies that as you install updates over time, they've been accused of causing slowdowns in their updates.
They're all accused of it. Apple is one of them too.
Slow as fuck.
Well, they proved it. After years of people saying that they felt their phones get slower and slower with time, and Apple denying it, it came out that because what they were doing. Okay, and this is one of those rare things, and that I'm actually going to defend Apple. What they were doing is that as your battery got older,
I'm sorry,
they
you're breaking up.
Yeah,
sorry.
I know.
I can't.
I will need to bathe in sin after this. But what they were doing is that as your battery got older, in order for the battery to last longer, they would sort of throttle your phone down a little so it wasn't eating as much battery. The problem wasn't what they were doing. The problem was that they were denying that they were doing it. So when people were saying, "Hey, is my phone slower?" They're like, "No, you're just a moron." But in reality, that's what they were doing. Samsung is doing the same thing. A few companies do. As your phone ages and the battery gets worse, they don't want you, since they don't make it possible anymore to replace the batteries. They make it so that your phone can last a little longer, and the only way they can really do it is by sort of throttling the processor a little bit.
Right.
Well, the problem is you're spending $1,000 for effectively a computer that lasts you 2, maybe 3 years.
Well,
which
I've
is
always said
a
that.
little bit ridiculous.
But that's why I said stop buying flagships. That's why, by the way, actually, recently as this week, Apple announced that they lowered their profit expectations for the upcoming quarter, and they slowed down for the first time in years. They slowed down their hiring because their sales they're not falling.
They did that. I'm sorry, they did that because they got fucked up the ass with their last quarter predictions.
Well, yes, that is, but I'm saying
meet it.
I'm saying, well, right. Their sales are they're not flatline, but they're not growing as fast as they usually do because no one's going to go out there and buy a phone for $11, $12, $13, $14, $1,500 that in a couple of years they have to replace. And you could say, well, they last for like 5 years. Yeah, but they basically go out of their prime after 2-3 years tops. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They also
it's almost like the lesson is the next, let's say my job gets me the next Samsung 10 or whatever, and so I'm incentivized not to ever upgrade the OS. Like, who gives a fuck if I want the OS?
Oh, oh god, the OS. Excuse me, I know your fancy talk over there. The OS. Which OS are you running?
Oh, your arse.
Arse. Yeah, I thought you were going Irish on me for a minute.
No. So like, if I choose, to deny any update, maybe I'll have a phone. Like, I'm curious to experiment. The next phone Samsung I get, don't upgrade the OS for 2 years.
If you want to experiment, I'm open to that.
Wait a minute, I had dibs on the rabbit. This is
sorry.
Hold on.
So, as a small non sequitur, I've moved on to rum, so I'm on to Kraken here.
Are you sure you're gonna be okay?
You know what? I don't know. Actually, I spent some time in the hospital last week because after listening to the first episode, I decided to play a drinking game where whenever I said, I took a drink and I ended up in a
coma?
Yes. So I said, like 17,000 times. No, actually, last week I did end up in the hospital for passing a kidney stone. That's the second one that I've passed, and just for all the listener out there, I would have to say, if you have a choice to do or not do this, choose to not do this. It's it's painful.
Yeah, but you get a cool little rock that your body made. It's like you gave birth to a little gemstone of your own.
Wait.
Asteroid. It's like I produced what is it? Armageddon 2.
Wow.
So
don't tell that to a woman.
Oh God,
She will tell you there's
it's funny
more
because
you
there's.
Produce.
Well, yeah, I mean, yes, no, he didn't carry this
debate
around for 9 months.
There's debate on whether or not that's more painful than childbirth.
Actually,
No, it's
My
not because
wife
listen, hold on, no, because you
has
carry a child
had
you carry around for 9 months and then you go through hours of labor and this thing comes out and then it just turns out to be one huge disappointment. I think that's a lot more painful.
no. Well, the disappointment part
I
is
was pretty
is
impressed with my stone, so
no,
yeah.
no. My
Yeah,
wife,
exactly. You're gonna
my
keep that
wife
thing, but your
has had the
child you want to get
comparison.
rid of as soon as possible.
My wife has had the comparison, and she said this was worse.
What
Which
was worse?
Which one was
the
worse?
passing a kidney stone.
Oh,
Really? Wow,
okay.
your wife is a warrior, man. Well
I
done.
win. I win.
And she
Yeah.
had, yes, that was a significant comparison for her.
So
Yeah.
I've passed dos two, and I'm sure I'll have to pass more in the future. Although, like I've been told that I have some like really big fucking ones in there where they'll have
Still?
to like, yes, still,
Oh,
where they'll have to like
sorry, dude.
bombard with the ultrasonic waves to break up and hope that I pass them normally. But and I know, Skippy, you were a little bit you didn't quite understand this. When you're passing a kidney stone, the horrible, fucking horrible pain is when it's going through your ureter, when it's going from your kidney to your bladder. It hurts like a motherfucker and then some. And then once it gets to your bladder, it's fine. When you actually pee it out, it's fine. You don't even feel it. They give you like a little a little sieve to pee into. So there's probably more information than anyone wants.
Yes, I'd like to remind you again that
Yeah,
we are recording. We started recording a few minutes
90
ago.
seconds ahead if you don't want to hear this. But yeah, they give you this little sip to pee into because when you actually pee it out, you don't really feel it. Oh my God, before
Yes, I
that,
have to
it's
admit
like,
I was completely misguided. I thought the way it works is that the most painful part is okay, so I thought they look at your kidney and they see this gigantic rock and then they zap it or give you something and they break it up into pieces and then you pass all these pieces and then when they're actually coming out via, when you go to the bathroom, that's the painful part. Apparently I was very much mistaken and it's everything before that that's horrible.
it has to be like over 5 millimeters or something, which is the limit where you could pass it through your ureter, which is, again, the tube that goes from your kidney to your bladder. And for some reason, some dumb fuck put nerve endings there so you could, like, when you...
That was Jesus. No, that was God. I'm sorry. Jesus was later. Forget it.
Okay, well, whoever fucking, needs
What?
to be
What?
beaten to within an inch of their lives for putting nerve endings there, because oh my fucking God, it's just like all you think of is I want my life to end right now. Let's just stop this. I'm going to vomit from the pain. So yeah. So but once
I
it
mean,
gets
this is
you're
very,
done.
yeah. This sounds sorry.
It's good.
This is a yeah, almost as painful as Kevin's email issue. Much like you have to pass a kidney stone, he can't swipe. He can't swipe his emails away. So you guys are going through some very similar turmoils. I can
It's
tell.
true.
I
It's
can't
true.
relate to either one of you. I have no problems at all. At least at this level, I know which email client I'm using, and I haven't pissed out a rock in quite some time. So.
Hey, I never did recommend the email client that I'm using now, which is Nine.
No, I was trying to lead you to it, and you just kept going off on stories of
I
adventure.
think Jerry got in the way of that comment.
That's what he does.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. All right, I think we spent enough time on urination and think. Oh, you know what? Actually, okay, so let me say this. Since I defended Apple before, I put something in the notes that I really wanted to kind of mention. Since we're nerding out about tech anyway. I'm sorry, I have to say this. I know, so CES just happened. Do you guys follow CES at all? Do you guys give a shit about CES? Does anyone give a shit about CES anymore?
Okay,
No.
so I like CES just for the fact of like there's neat stuff that's coming
Will
out.
never
Like,
get made? What do you mean coming out?
well, I don't know. I don't know. Like Google has like magnets where they
Ooh.
have like the weather and shit like that. Yes, okay, I know it'll never get made. LG has that cool like TV that like comes out that's totally rolls up and everything.
Yeah,
So
that's gonna cost $20,000, and
I
you
know, I
own
know.
it.
In my heart, okay, in my heart, I hope that shit that's in CES actually comes to fruition. It's like the the automobile shows
Keep
where
dreaming.
like they're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, this is our concept
It's like an auto
car,
show.
and I'm like, wow, that's a car that actually looks cool, and then they never actually make it.
But at least
So
in an auto show, you know that at some point some of that will make it into the real world, and it'll probably
Come
be have
on,
an
not
engine.
really.
Well, no, I mean in the sense that there'll
I
be a
haven't
thing on
seen that
four
yet.
wheels, and it'll have an engine, and it'll propel you down the road. Then you have the stuff at CES, which is just never ever gonna see the light of day. And
That
most
little
and a lot of it,
rectangle thing will, have concept, but
yeah, exactly. But what really kind of annoyed me, and this is just part of a bigger conversation, is just at this point we really do live at an age where it seems like everybody, whether they're politicians or brands or whoever, can just literally just lie to people, and there's absolutely no consequence. So I don't know if you guys saw, but outside of CES, Apple put up a huge. There was a huge. It wasn't a billboard. It was actually painted on the side of a building, and it was facing CES, and it was this picture. It was an outline of an iPhone, and it said, "What happens on an iPhone stays on an iPhone." And yes, definitely overthinking it. I'm taking this too personally, but there's a lot of problems with that message. Let's just start with the fact that it's a complete and utter lie, and it's, in a way, you could say it's also a dangerous lie, and I'll explain why in a minute. Basically, with they're trying to sort of address the whole thing that people think that Google and the companies that Google deals with, they collect your data, they sell your data. There's that, everything that's gone on with Facebook these days is making people really paranoid. But this billboard that they put up is just a straight up lie. It's on many levels. It's
wait,
completely lying to
are
their
they
customers.
really making people paranoid?
Who, Google?
The people. I don't see the people being paranoid.
No,
No. The sense out there is that these tech companies are playing very fast and loose with your data and your privacy. That everything's been happening with Facebook. So what Apple did is they put this thing up to say, well, yeah, while you're at CES and you're encountering all these products and companies that don't give a shit about your data or your privacy, whatever you do on your iPhone stays in your iPhone. It was also supposed to be a play on the fact that this thing takes place in Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Hard. So, but it's completely dishonest because, first of all,
our president can say whatever the fuck,
hold on. I want to point out we made it a full hour before we got to politics, so well done to us. But before I segue, no, first of all, it's a lie because Apple absolutely 100% collects your data, and some of it, a good amount of it, absolutely goes to their servers. So that's dishonesty right there from the get-go. The second thing is that one of the things that Apple advertises nonstop is, of course, all the apps that are in their app store. You can do all these amazing things with your iPhone and your iPad and your various Apple products, but the problem is the second you use any app, all that shit goes out the window anyway, and nothing you do stays on your iPhone. No. So it's misleading. It's also lulling people into a false sense of security because, grandma doesn't know anything about this stuff. So it just makes me so angry that they can lie. What's that?
Marketing.
But but there's a good way to do marketing. There's honest ways to do marketing, and then there's lying to your customers. Kind of like what I mentioned in notes that AT&T is doing lately.
Skippy, you're so cute.
Wait, AT&T? I'm sure you heard about this. AT&T updated the software on their phones. Some of them, by the way, Samsung phones, which I think you owe, Jerry.
I'm T-Mobile, so.
Oh, okay, good. So you'll never get an update or any signal on your phone anyway, so you're safe. But it updated phones so that instead of 4G, it now says 5G. And then there's little tiny E next to it so they can say that it says 5GE because they want to trick and lie to people into believing that their phones now get 5G service before it's available on any other network. And no one is doing anything about this. I know it's like consumer products is crap, but it's just such blatant lying and misleading. How is this okay?
How is it okay
when our president... 5G.
When our fucking president can say whatever the fuck he wants, and people are like, "Ooh, okay."
Well, that's what I'm saying. We live in an age where lying
is like, "Oh, well, if the commander in chief could say whatever the fuck he wants and just make shit up, pull it out of his ass, anyone can." Yeah, no, I mean,
Well, that's the thing. I think it's very irresponsible at this day and age where you have a president and cabinet and staff that do nothing but lie through their teeth 24 hours a day. And then you have certain news networks that lie constantly. And then you have other legitimate journalists who are constantly being accused of lying. Then now you have these tech brands, which, by the way, don't have really great reputation these days as it is, that just completely just lie. There's no explanation.
No.
There's no like slant to this. You can't look at what Apple did and what AT&T has done and say, okay, but hold on. You can also look at it from this angle. There's no angle. They're just lying.
Yeah, no. Can I be completely transparent with you?
No, please lie to me.
No, I'm not going to lie to you. I have moved on to Kraken, and I am now drinking.
Dude, you moved into Kraken 40 minutes ago.
No. Well,
Wait, hold on. I want to clarify this in case you're confused. You have been drinking that rum for quite some time. So if you think you've just started with the rum, I haven't. Are you in for a surprise when you pee out blood?
2 out of 3 vote. You've been drinking Kraken.
This is the first time I mentioned it. I have my Total Geek D20.
Oh my God! Did you pee that thing out?
Rock.
No.
That's huge.
No, that's not the rock that I passed. Trust me. Oh my fucking God, that's not the rock that I passed. But I do have the rock that I passed in a jar in my bathroom.
If I were you, I would make I would get a ring or maybe a necklace and have little spots in it where every time you pass a rock, you can put it in that thing. You can just carry that around your neck. Tell me that's not an icebreaker at a party.
I am totally contemplating that. I've gotten 2 of those already, and they're pretty fucking big. Or
give them to your wife as earrings for Valentine's Day, but don't tell her.
It's all about the carrot.
Be like, yeah, there's zirconium.
Don't think she'd appreciate that. I made those for you. Literally.
Well, she keeps constantly pointing out the children that she has birthed for you, so you can be like, well, I made this for you.
Christ. Yeah, no. There are things that you just don't... You don't go
that's
to.
Awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that was fucking... That's horribly painful. Trust me, if you haven't actually passed a kidney stone, you will understand that once you do.
Okay, so I do have a relatable experience. So, like I said, I'm not
was it the ending? Was it horribly, incapacitatively painful? Was it the last episode of Daredevil? Is that what you're talking about?
No. But thank you for not bringing Lost in the conversation again, because God damn it, I would lose my shit. No. So even though I'm not going to get it yet, I'm not yet ready to get into the details of my injury that I went through in the beginning of 2018. I will tell you this, that while I was in the hospital...
Yeah. Pretty impressive.
Yeah. Where I picked up my nickname. So I have, however, there is very few things as terrifying as a nurse walking into your room and informing you that they have to... Okay, so first they came into the room and removed the catheter, okay, which was nightmarish enough. But then...
Can I stop you there?
Sure.
There are times where I would have welcomed a catheter and not had to deal with actually getting up to urinate. But go on.
Okay, no, well, I mean, now you're way ahead of me. What I was going to say is that the only thing scary, so they pulled it out and I thought, oh, okay, that was horrible. And by the way, yeah, it is when they pulled it out because, oh my God, I mean, they just keep pulling and pulling and pulling.
Okay, and they never actually have...
When they come... Well, because I hadn't
anything shoved up my urethra.
Yeah, so that happened while I was under. So they pulled it out and I was like, okay, that's the worst. And then mere hours after that, they come back and tell me, hey, good news, quote unquote. We have to put it back in, except now you're going to be fully conscious. And I want to say this was done 3 times while I was going through this. Okay.
I'm so sorry, Skippy.
Yeah, and you ask them, and you're like, every time they pull it out, you're like, are you sure? Are you sure this is the last time you want to do this? And they're like, yeah, there's no way you're going to need this reinserted. And then, they yank it out, you yell, you scream, you cry a little, they hold you, they comfort you and tell you everything's going to be okay and that Santa's real. And then they leave, and then you're like, great, the worst of it is over. And then a few hours pass, and they come back in, and they have that look on their face and a clipboard and then a little bag of things.
This is so vague, I have to say.
Would you like me to explain the insertion?
No, keep it a cliffhanger.
Oh, yeah. I also didn't. What I learned is that, by the way, this is very important. If you ever wind up, like, if you ever wake up in a hospital, like, if you ever, like, run into a burning building to save a child or something and you fail miserably because we're all old and horribly out of shape, when you wake up in a hospital and you got a tube coming out of you, do not yank it out. Do not.
Oh, jeez.
Because what they do is, I didn't realize, is that after they insert it, they inflate, like, a little pouch inside of you.
Yes.
And that has to be deflated before you pull it out. Because if you don't deflate it and just pull really hard, well.
So I had a hospital experience several years ago, probably 8 years ago, and it was totally random. Like, I noticed that I had spots all over my arm, well, like all over my whole body. And I was like, wow, what the fuck was that? So I went to my doctor the next day and I was like, hey doc, what's this? And he was like, I know exactly what that is. Hold on. And he brought in a whole bunch of his doctor friends and he said, hey, look at Jerry. And they were all like, oh, wow. Yeah, that's totally normal. Don't worry about it. So my doctor said that, like,
wait, they had to bring in in a whole medical team just to tell you that there's nothing wrong with you?
Other doctors, and he was like, hey, look at Jerry. And they were like, wow.
Oh, that's a person. Oh, God.
Wait,
oh, no.
Wait.
Later on.
Jerry, was this a while ago when you were local?
Exactly. Well, let's see. My daughter is 10 years old, so this was 9 to 10 years ago. So they were like, later on I got a call that said, hey, you came in earlier. We think you should go to the emergency room. And so it turns out that I had some. What was that?
Weren't you already in the hospital?
No. I wasn't in the hospital already. This was like earlier in the day. I went to my GP and he was like, let me show other doctor this. And for his credit, he said, I think it's something called ITP, which it was. And basically what that is you're...
Oh, no, you had insane clown posse?
Yes, I did.
Oh, that's the worst. I'm sorry.
My body totally was attacking its own platelets and wasn't able to have any kind of clotting factor. So normally your clotting factor is at like 250,000 and mine was at 2,000. So like at the time, if I had
I've had way too much to drink at this point, so math is difficult. Is that is that gooder or worse?
It's less. Basically, at any point at that time, I could have had a hemorrhage, like thinking. If I was thinking about this podcast, I could have hemorrhaged and died. Yeah, I had no clotting factor, so all around my body I had like little red dots because my capillaries were bleeding. And yeah, in all credit to my doctor at the time, he totally was like, get yourself to a emergency room now and deal with this. And that probably saved my life.
Wow,
but
it's crazy.
Yeah, it was totally crazy. And unfortunately, I can't donate blood anymore because I've had this blood disorder. And before that, I would normally donate blood and plasma and whatever anyone needed.
Well, I'm glad they caught it in time. That's insane.
Yeah, that was I remember that. I was around for that moment. And
all right. This isn't about you, Kevin. Okay, take it easy.
I'm not claiming any of this.
The man almost died. You're like, ooh, I've heard this story before.
He's like, yeah, I heard this story.
All right, so we've all pretty much had near life/death experiences. Kevin, have you ever had one of those? Have you ever had to rush to an emergency room for anything?
Yeah, I have. Skippy has. Have you?
I am not in the almost dead clown posse.
Well, that's good. Oh, damn, that's the spin-off podcast. Nice.
Yeah, good times.
Yeah, Kevin, honestly, that's really good to hear. I'm glad you never had to go through any of that stuff. I hope you live the rest of your life never having been rushed to an emergency room.
Oh, don't worry.
It's not fun.
I am destined for cancer or some other crazy shit.
Oh, we're all destined for cancer.
It's 1 in 2 males, right? So of the 3 of us, there'll be 1.5 of us.
Well, I have it in my family, so it's probably going to be me.
I vaguely have it in my family, but not really.
I'm kind of curious. I'm pretty sure there's...
I'm the half.
Oh, you're the half. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay, all right. So that was all a huge downer, but at least we survived. So that's, I guess that's all that.
So the
uh,
only last topic, unless you want to.
See, I was gonna segue the whole death, almost dying thing into Avengers Endgame because I know we're not gonna agree on this topic at all because, well, I don't know where Jerry went. He's just gone. But you get, from what I understand, so again, I have to be sort of in the smaller pool of people who really did not like, what was the last one? Avengers Infinity War?
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, no,
come on,
it
like,
wasn't, it was not a good movie. It was, I can tear, it's so easy to tear that movie apart without even overthinking it. It was so just lazy, and it was just one of those, like, we need to get from point A to, yes, they needed to get from point A to point B, and nothing in the middle made any sense. As you watch the movie, at every point you're like, but why didn't they just blank? Why didn't they just this? Why didn't they just that? If they had just made one intelligent decision throughout the movie, the entire thing could have been over in 10
But
seconds.
Skippy,
No, that's
Skippy,
any movie.
but
That's any
why
movie.
can't
Oh, it's not
you...
Bird Box. Bird Box, there was nothing else they could have done.
No.
Birdbox just
Wait.
sucked.
Wait. Why can't you watch a movie and say, if I was engrossed in the movie story,
I wasn't engrossed.
okay,
Because
and
it's
that,
Skip.
but so the measurement of a good movie is if I had to step back and go, like, look in my movie theater and go, like, in other words, your awareness is not the story, your mind is not into the plot, and then you're all of a sudden stepping out of the plot and going, what is this all about? Who are these people? Then yes, I can agree with you that that's not a good movie.
No, it was different than that. It was me watching the movie, and every time somebody would say or do something, I would go, "Wait, what? Why? That
But
doesn't
is
make
that
any
a-
sense."
But is that
Okay, Kevin,
is that
Kevin?
out of confusion? I doubt that's confusion in your case. Like, I don't think that's what you were.
If Dwayne Johnson was involved in some way in this movie,
Yes.
then Stevie will give it a 10 out of 10.
Yes.
Okay?
I will, but
If
I will
it's-
admit that. If it honestly, if about 2/3 into the movie, as I'm sitting there going, "What the hell is going on? These people all deserve to be destroyed." If all of a sudden The Rock just walked in, gave me one of those little rock wings, you know the one I'm talking about? That's it, 5 stars. I'm sorry, the man has charisma.
Let me say, like, Dune. Remember that movie in,
Ugh.
I don't know, the 80s?
I'm
liked
gonna go to sleep right here.
But I liked it because I was
Dune.
intrigued with the plot. You know, I didn't read the books at the time and all that shit. So when I go to a movie, if I can walk out and say I didn't exit the movie in the middle of the movie, you know what I mean? Like, awareness. If I was engrossed in that plot the entire time, it was a good movie.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. There have been ridiculous movies which I've seen, which I was totally, even if they weren't unrealistic or believable or required too much suspense of disbelief, that I totally enjoyed because they were just fun to watch. For example, I'm going to bring up one that, in a rare case we're all going to agree on, I think, John Wick. Okay, nothing believable about any of those movies, but both movies are fucking incredible.
Engaging.
No,
Yes.
I can't wait until John Wick 3
Yeah,
comes
yeah,
out.
best trilogy ever.
May-
I mean, better than those
Coming out in
stupid.
May.
Yeah, better than those goddamn stupid hobbits or those people that with lightsabers. No, this is going to be the best trilogy ever. I don't care. No, seriously, like, just fight me. I will defend that to the death. John Wick is going to be the best trilogy ever.
No.
But-
Like, if you think about other good shows like Daredevil, where at the end,
Don't compare shows. Wait, did you finish
Sorry.
season 3 of Daredevil?
dude, I
No,
did,
I didn't.
and it
Not
was
talk
just
about
like,
it.
Oh, you agree with me? Or with
no,
actually,
I
you
do
agree with,
agree with you. It was horrible.
yes,
was
the
horrible.
season finale of Daredevil season 3 was horrendous. They
No,
destroyed
no,
a perfectly good season.
It was good. No. Don't. I'm going to save this person by even, like, throwing.
Wait. Kevin, did you see it yet?
I have not. Please
Okay,
do
don't
not.
spoil it.
No
Don't spoil it. He
spoil.
hasn't seen
Kevin,
it. Spoil it.
Kevin, can you go leave?
Can you-
I
Go
am taking
away.
off my headphones now.
No.
We're gonna talk about it.
Thank you.
No, we're not going to discuss it because here's the thing. We'll save it for another discussion when he catches up to
We
it.
have to
But
reference.
suffice it to say that I am legitimately surprised that both me and Jerry hated the end of it. But
No, it sucked.
it absolutely sucked. The end of Daredevil season 3 was one of the worst endings ever. But putting all that aside, let's go back to what I was saying about Avengers. So here's the thing. It is being directed by the Russo brothers, who made Civil War, which was awesome. Civil War was awesome. No, wait, not Civil War. I'm sorry. Yeah, Civil War. Yeah, they made Civil War.
No.
And then Infinity War. So two things. First of all, if you ever read the comic books of Infinity War, they changed the story completely. And I think they oversimplified it. And yeah, you can say the comic was a little campy, but it was also just on a completely different scale. And fine, I'll give them that they had much more limited resources and much less characters to work with, so there was a lot of limitations. But in
also,
general,
honestly,
nothing along the lines makes sense.
In their defense, like putting this for a movie audience is different than putting it for a.
What doesn't make sense?
Where do you want me to start? First of all, whenever you introduce the concept of that someone has the ability to control time, you've already made your job so much harder. Because at every point you go, okay, but why didn't he just reverse time and do this? Or why didn't he just reverse time? You've lost me.
Time is the annoying catch-all plot device.
Yes.
Like, you instantly know that any plot device exists as soon as there's a time thing.
Exactly. Once that's introduced, you're instantly creating a lot of weaknesses in your story.
But they didn't use it.
Exactly.
There was one guy that...
No, they used it at the end when it was convenient.
Wait.
No, I get it.
Hold on.
I understand.
That's...
Wait, Jerry.
No.
Jerry, zip it.
No.
Zip it. Jerry,
that's because
zip it.
Cuomo
Jerry, zip
just said that he was approving the recreational use of marijuana. So that's why time.
Wow.
Why.
Yeah, he is. I'm pretty sure the Kraken has been released into his kidneys at this point.
No, that's why.
If Jerry doesn't piss out a huge
travel
rock by the end of this podcast, I'd be
Governor Cuomo just said in New York that marijuana is for recreational use.
Yes. Thank you. By the way, a big thank you to Cynthia Nixon for that. That's because of her.
NC or what?
Who?
Cynthia where?
Cynthia Nixon. She is an actress that you actually may know from one of the worst shows ever made called Sex and the City. But she ran against Cuomo.
The one with cancer?
I don't know.
You have to actually have watched the show.
Actually, I did. Oh, God. Okay, this is, again, I'm saving this for another thing. But
the one that was...
My ex was obsessed with that show, and she made me watch all the seasons of Sex and the City. And that may be the only thing more painful than pissing out the rock the size of like my fist, because
I say that all the time. This show sucks.
God, it is Sex and the City was just, it's torture. It is absolute 100% torture.
But
every episode is passing a kidney stone.
But for women, apparently it's empowering. So be a little sensitive.
No, because it's fine. If women want to watch it and they find it empowering, then good for them. I shouldn't have to watch it. It's
agreed. Thank you.
Yeah. But however, I will say that other show, the male version of it, Entourage, is just as bad, if not worse.
I didn't watch that one, and for good reason.
Yeah, it really is. It's the douchebag version of Sex and the City. It's horrible.
Nice.
Okay. So the other thing, if you're talking about what else didn't make sense in Infinity War, again, there's a million things, but at the end of the day, the whole thing where, they made this whole big thing out of like, you can't sacrifice Vision in order because they have to destroy the stone because whatever reason they came up with. No, they literally go, okay, they have a conversation. There's a scene where him and Captain America are arguing. And he goes,
that's just posing a morale question.
But it's not a moral question. Because the answer that he gets when he goes, well, why don't you just destroy it? The answer that Captain America gives him is, we don't trade lives. And then proceeds to go, we are going to trade hundreds of lives to go die on a battlefield to protect one life, and then risk the death of trillions of other lives. No, that's bullshit.
Because it's don't define it. You have a bunch of people who decide to fight.
But they
That's a
didn't.
big. That's
No,
a.
no,
That's a
I,
huge
I
morale
agree with.
conversation.
No. It was decided for them because
No,
the final scene takes place in Wakanda, and all those people that died, the
you mean
Wakanda warriors, they never
the
got a choice. They
the
had to.
field troops?
Yeah,
They're
they
just
never got a choice.
No,
yeah, but okay. I mean, now you're getting into soldiers know what they're signing up for, and
Okay,
then they follow the leaders, and the
no, I
leaders
agree
decide.
with Skippy here.
but that doesn't matter.
Because, like,
In fact, hold on. In fact,
Oh shit!
when
I mean
when they
the
yeah, that's why we have three
the
people. When they get into an argument and Captain America says, "We don't trade lives," Vision turns around and says, "But you did the same thing when you crashed the plane into an iceberg or whatever, and you thought you were gonna die and freeze to death. You did the same thing. You traded your life to save the life of many other people." And they just completely brush over that. He's like, "Well, that's different because I am hot, Captain."
no, you don't decide other people's lives. You decide your own lives.
But he did decide that. The Vision said, "Kill me to save others." He did make that choice.
yeah,
Oh, that's a lot of silence, Kevin.
It made
What's
more
wrong?
sense to me before, and
Before I explained it better,
no, I don't agree.
you don't agree?
no,
because
no.
it's a-
I
No,
mean,
no. My standpoint is neutral. Like I understand both standpoints. I don't have a particular preference to either side, but I feel
No.
like I can see both sides.
Really?
no. If you think about it,
I think it
Oh
smells
my-
like bullshit in here.
yeah.
That's your house.
Yeah. What is that? Oh, I think it's my cat. Look, I will say this: it was entertaining, and I will absolutely go watch Endgame because I'm a comic book nerd and I love all that stuff. But it was, I think, if you look at the timeline of all the movies that came out in the 10 years that this whole Marvel Cinematic Universe was around, there have been some movies which they were all flawed to a certain extent, but there were some where I was more than willing to forgive the flaws because the rest of it was just great or very entertaining. Again, you have movies like Civil War, Winter Soldier, the first Iron Man movie. I'm forgetting a lot of really, really good ones.
Well, three Iron Mans.
Well, yeah, but the second Iron Man wasn't
Didn't
great. The
really
third one
attach.
wasn't really that good. And then you had, I was actually one of the few people that actually liked. Oh, Thor Ragnarok was fantastic, and I can't
Oh,
believe
that
I just
was great.
forgot. What's her names? Holy crap! Galaxy, help again.
Galaxy.
Which one?
Her.
No, wow. I'm blanking on as usual. I'm blanking on the most
Are you
obvious.
talking about Captain Marvel?
No, I'm talking about the Alex Gunn movies, which I can't believe. Oh my God, I'm definitely gonna have to edit this part out because this is embarrassingly stupid. Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, Guardians of the
Those are
Galaxy.
great.
They're fantastic, and they have a lot of problems with those movies, but those are absolutely movies that I adore from start to finish.
But look, at the end of
Avengers Infinity War is not one of those. It just isn't.
because this is why. If I'm gonna analyze your comment, is
Comments. I made many valid points.
you
Damn
did.
you.
But Guardians of
Sure.
the Galaxy, it's all about character development, right? So if you are going
No,
to
it's about storytelling. Not every movie is about character development. At some points, they establish the characters, and they take those characters and build a story using
And
the
that's
established
the
characters.
storytelling.
But Avengers is more of a
Yeah,
plot
the first-
storytelling. It's not so much about the character development.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why the first Avengers was great. The second one, the Ultron one, I know a lot of people didn't like it and they had some issues with it, but I actually really liked Ultron. It wasn't as good as the first one, but it was very enjoyable. Infinity War, nah.
But it wasn't meant to be character development. It was meant to be
I'm not
plot
looking-
development.
Yes, I understand that. I'm saying the plot sucked. It was very. A lot of things happened with a specific just because mentality. It was there there was things that were done to move the plot along. Okay, let's look at it this way. Okay, look at the scene where they finally sort of have when they're on Titan and they have Thanos sort of subdued. Well, you have Mantis that's sitting on his head and she's keeping him in some weird drowsy mode, and they're trying to like pull his glove off, right? And
Yeah.
that's the part where the guy from Guardians, what's his name? Star-Lord. He
Yeah,
gets really
yeah,
upset
yeah.
because Gamora's dead. And the thing, but watch that
And
scene
you
again.
realize he's such a douche because he fucks it all up for everybody.
Right. But here's the thing. Watch that scene again the way the truth is revealed to him is through Nebula, who for some reason, as they're all focused on getting this glove off, and they're all like, okay, we literally have just one thing to do. We have to get his glove off so we save trillions of people. She's sitting there and she's having this exposition about Gamora. Why? It's there to do nothing but move the plot along to get to a point where he gets angry and punches him in the face and completely messes up their plan. There's no reason for the people to act in this movie the way they do. There's just none.
What is the phrase? Like a ex machina, whatever moment.
Yes, exactly. Yes, there's a lot of ex machina moments in that movie, and they're all placed in a specific way to just move the story along. No one would act in that way in those specific spots.
Yeah, I felt like that was.
It was forced.
I agree. That was like, why would you do that? Are you,
right.
And you're supposed to agree that you're caught in. He was caught in the moment, and then he couldn't react rationally, so he was irrational, and he did those things. And it's like, you just screwed it all up. Like, everyone in the theater is like, what are you doing?
Exactly. So that kept taking me out of the movie. So imagine that reaction, except I had it about 50 times throughout the film. Where I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Why?
That's interesting. I mean, so in comparison, like I said, a good measurement of a movie is how many times did you exit the movie, look around, and I'm in a theater.
Yes, exactly.
And
that happened to me all the time for that movie.
To me, I was engrossed enough where it was only a few times, not as much as you. So that's at the end of the day, I think that's the comparison.
Yeah, well, that's because we're not talking about John Wick.
Yeah,
I mean, because John Wick.
No, John Wick has kept me in it from beginning to end, both movies. And actually, I recommend to you guys and anybody who's listening. I can't say that with a serious face. And if anybody can, go on YouTube and or Google or Bing perhaps, and look up. There's some great videos that analyze why John Wick, both the movies, why they're so good at what they do. It's not just about the action sequences. The whole thing is choreographed and directed and storyboarded in a certain way that's actually, in a very subtle way, a lot more genius than we give it credit for. We look at it and we think, oh, it's just a stupid action movie, and oh god, it's some guy whose dog they killed. But there's actually a lot more brilliance behind the way that movie is structured than we realize, and that is why it keeps us in it as well as it does. Yeah. Okay.
It's totally enjoyable watching like John Wick kill everyone in the fucking universe.
There's definitely a body count. I forget I actually want to say comparison. There used to be a guy on YouTube who used to go through various movies and do body count on all of them. I remember for a while movies like Total Recall and RoboCop held records. Like I think something like 700,000 people
that beat John Wick.
No, that's the thing. You'd be surprised. Some of those old movies, they had R ratings, so they got away with a ridiculous body count. Look up movies like RoboCop or Total Recall, and oh my god.
I watched Total Recall recently, and I would still put John Wick or John Wick 2 above Total Recall.
I'm assuming you mean the original Total Recall, not the remake, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. The original.
Okay, all right.
Like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like having that face when,
Well, he's got well, how else do you start the reactor?
Exactly.
All right, so we ended the last podcast. We were talking about how we're transitioning into 2019. And if I'm counting correctly, we are about halfway into the first month of 2019. Jerry, how's your 2019 going so far?
So far it's going okay. I've had a couple of job interviews because recently I've lost my job because my company was bought out by another company. We recently, they kind of said, hey, thanks, but no thanks. We have your department under us, so we're just going to move on. So thankfully, New York State has said that because of that, you have a certain amount of time before you lose everything. Benefits, etc., whatnot.
I believe is that part of the Warren Act, by the way?
It is. It is exactly the Warren Act. So thank God for
Ooh.
that. Yes. So I have 90 days. I have no benefits or whatnot. But
What do you mean? You have the benefit of this podcast, and I'd like to thank your friends.
yes, yes. Because of this podcast, I have
Memories. And later you can listen to it. You also have a huge embarrassment because this is all on record.
Oh God, yes. I have various. I haven't gotten any mattresses yet. I've looked out.
Well, I mean, we're only on episode 2. I mean, come on, give it some time, man.
I've looked out. Maybe episode 3, but
Wait, have you been standing outside your house waiting for your mattress delivery? I believe I've misled you a little bit in that case.
Oh, okay. Because I've been standing out there. It's been really cold recently. And I'm like, where the fuck is my mattress coming? So yes.
What have you been sleeping on this entire time?
I have a yoga mat.
A what?
Yoga mat.
A yoga mat.
By the way, I'm not laughing at the fact that you slept on a yoga mat. I'm laughing at the fact that you own one.
Hey, wait a minute. I own one too.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, let me laugh again.
There was a time.
No,
So
I
actually,
have 2 yoga mats because they're not thick enough. One yoga mat is too thin. You have to stack them.
In the beginning of my second marriage, there was hot yoga for a time.
Ooh. No, my yoga mat is.
Oh, I get it. You're not talking about yoga at all.
Yeah, no, I am talking yoga.
All right, just work with me here. All right, I'm trying to make this a sexy podcast. And I don't think our catheter and kidney
We're
stuff.
supposed to be old men yelling,
There's
not sexy. Old men sexy.
There's nothing sexier than old men doing hot, sweaty yoga, though, right?
No, my yoga mat is under my bike trainer, which is basically.
Wait, your bike? Oh, your bike. Sorry, I just pictured some dead bicyclist lying on top of a yoga mat. Go on, Kevin.
No, Kevin. I have a bike trainer. Basically, like I like to use Ruby. Rouvy.
I don't know what that is.
It's bike trainer software. It's basically like, hey, you want to, I don't know, I guess compared to something like Zwift. So there's Zwift. That's the big bike trainer software. Bike trainer software being like, I have a bike, I'm using it, yay! It's indoors. It's software. It's I guess it's kind of hard to describe it unless you've used the bike trainer.
Yeah, no, I mean, I work for a bicycling company.
Okay.
I'm definitely aware what you're talking about.
So basically, bike trainer software, you're using this as, like, you're riding your bike indoors, you're not. It's cool because some of the more advanced bike trainer software, it's like, if you think you're going uphill, you're going uphill. If you're going downhill, it's easier, whatnot. But okay.
Hey Jerry, I just realized we never took a break.
No, we haven't.
Well, it's way too late. We need to actually start wrapping this up at this point. So I want to say one thing. I'm actually legitimately proud of us. We did hit the topic of politics about an hour into this thing, but we haven't really come back to it. And I think for this particular episode, I think we should keep it that way. Because we mentioned that a lot of things that we talk about seem to come back to that because we tie a lot of negativity with what's going on in politics in general. And right now, especially with what's going on with the shutdown and everything like that, it's very easy to default to that and go, good Lord, what the hell is happening with the world? But I'm kind of glad we stayed clear of that. I think we should. We can have a politics-focused episode at some point. Although I don't know if that'll really serve a point because I think we pretty much agree on that.
I mean, we didn't say old men yelling at politics, but I did listen to the entire first one, and the first one was not at all negative. I mean, a little bit, but not the focus. And
I think we've done enough bitching in this one to make up for the first one.
Sure. The one topic I think we didn't talk about was our little Chromecast audio and Google in general killing apps and whatever.
Yeah, that was
but
not
maybe
a good
that's
thing.
the cliffhanger for next one.
Yeah, it wasn't really a bigger topic. Suffice to say, I'm just mad at all tech companies, and Google has been on my shit list this whole year for basically making anti-consumer decisions, including canceling your inbox, my Chromecast audio, and a bunch of other decisions that they made, which I don't agree with. But look, at the
But
end of
wait
the
a
day,
minute.
these
They
are
only
huge.
canceled the audio dongle that has the stereo jack in it. They didn't cancel Chromecast audio to your HDMI device.
Wait, hold on. I have to work that through my tiny brain. Okay, no, they have a device, right? But the Chromecast. Okay, so they had a Chromecast that you can use to watch, let's say, Netflix or whatever on your TV, and then they had a
Yep.
Chromecast audio, which you hook up to any old speaker, essentially
Right.
making it into a smart speaker, and you can cast audio through it, so you can listen to music and
Right.
podcasts. Like this one, for example, wink, wink. So they got
But
rid of they got rid of Chromecast audio, so you can't really
wait,
connect anything to your speakers anymore. Well, I'm
via
sorry, you.
via a micro jack. You
Well,
can still
how?
listen to it through your TV if the Chromecast is an HDMI.
Yeah, but why would? But then your TV is on. I don't want my TV on. I just want the speakers playing music. Why would I?
I have to be honest with you. I
And wait a
never
minute.
knew
And wait a minute. Hold on
this
a second.
entire 5 years that there was a Chromecast audio with a stereo jack.
Well, that's
I
because you
always
don't
thought it
listen
was
to
an
me.
HDMI.
No, well, I've explained multiple times what it is. And ultimately, I think that's why they canceled it, because not enough people bought it. And because they made it confusing. Because Google doesn't know how to brand anything. As you may have noticed with their 20 messaging services that they launch and cancel on a yearly basis.
Yes, I agree with that. They cancel shit that's quite useful.
Yes, and at this
Uh,
point, your only option is to go buy one of their, or it's going to be one they have. They're planning on releasing a Google Home Mini with 3.5 millimeter jack to it. You're gonna have to buy one of those. And look, I'm sorry, I don't want one
Wait,
of those.
3.5. So then they are gonna have what?
The
Three and a half.
current Mini does not have a jack in it.
Right.
What they're going to release a Mini that does have a jack in it, kind of like what Amazon
So
did with the
so
Amazon
that's your
Echo.
new Chromecast audio.
But I don't
So,
want. I
but
don't want a Google device in my house that's always listening to me.
yeah, what
Oh,
Skippy's
I
saying
agree.
is he
I
doesn't
want
want a
I wanted
robot
something to
listening
just
to everything
yeah, I just
that
wanted
he's saying.
to cast to something. That's it.
Okay.
And
I,
that's it.
I'll,
That
I'll,
that concept is dead.
that's good with me. It's okay.
No, it's not okay. It's not okay at all. I'm
It's
No,
angry.
okay
I'm
for me.
angry about it, and I was about to move on from this, but you had to bring it up and make me angry. This is like when Kelly brings up the series finale of Lost, which I have to come back to because
I
just
never saw a lot.
just
so I
fuck
don't
everyone
care.
who made that show.
Just imagine a black smoke monster that
No,
doesn't
no.
make
No, the Black Smoke
sense.
Monster was insulting, but the very end of it, where there's a magical butt plug in an island, that was a whole nother level of fuck you to the fans.
Yeah, I agree.
To this day, worst series finale ever. Nothing even comes close to being as bad as the way Lost ended. And
I
that's just going to
felt
become my thing.
so offended at the end of that.
It is one of the few shows that if you throw your chair at the TV, you're completely justified. Terrible. All right. Anyway, I think it's time to wrap up. I wanted to keep this one shorter. We somehow ran longer. So I'm going to have a lot of editing. Thank
This
you both.
might be 2 episodes.
No, it's not quite that long, but we'll see. We may make it a part A and part B, but we'll see. So some of the things we really didn't get to touch on, honestly, is Kevin, while you were away, I don't know, squeezing one out off camera, we talked about 2019 a little bit and how it's been so far. Actually, you know what? No, because we both discussed it. I'd like to hear how your 2019 is going so far.
My 2019. I mean, there's nothing that amazing about it. It's
Okay, great. So we're going to end right here because that pretty much wraps it up. And there's also, I know you put a few notes in here that you want to talk about a few more board games, but we can get to it next time, I think. We touched on Gloomhaven a little bit, which means if I'm sticking to my word after the first episode, I now have to go out and buy it, even though I have absolutely no one to play it with.
No,
But
do not. Unless you can find people. Wait
I
till
can.
you find people before you buy it. Let me put it that way.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I have to make a checklist. Item 1, find people. Item 2, buy Gloomhaven. Item 3, get people to play Gloomhaven. Item 4, find more people because people in first category will not want to play Gloomhaven. Got it. Okay. And then we also have to, there's a couple of really cool
Twilight
shows.
Imperium. That's another good game.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. Is that about vampires and werewolves?
No.
No, it's
It's sci-fi entirely.
So are vampires and werewolves.
That is
Do you
not
think they're
sci-fi
real?
at all.
Okay, well, I mean, I heard Twilight and I got terrified.
No, not Twilight.
Okay, all right. So we'll discuss that on the next episode. Or if anybody actually listens to this podcast and has some suggestions about what we can discuss, I would love to hear it, as I'm sure Kevin and Jerry would as well. Also, I think we're always looking for feedback because there's a lot of things that we know have to kind of grow, evolve, and change as this podcast goes on. So we would love to hear any feedback, positive, negative. You can tell us to go fuck ourselves. It's all good. We welcome all of it. I think I'm pretty much talked out at this point. I'm also completely out of Sam's Cola, and I'm not going to be drinking vodka straight because then I'm going to wind up like Jerry over there, passed out in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin, you got anything to add before we wrap up?
I'm still up.
You're not Kevin. Stop talking.
Sorry.
In fact, you pretty much just confirmed the fact that we need to end this thing. Kevin, you got anything? Time to go. Jerry, would you like to give a thoughtful haiku or some kind of memorable comment before we wrap up to the fans?
Oh, I'm interested.
I want to hear this. Yes,
sorry,
that's right.
I'm sorry. What was that?
That
Buzz,
poor,
buzz, 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 buzz.
That poor
Buzz,
fucking rabbit. I have no idea.
buzz.
It's so gonna get cooked and eaten tonight. You know it is.
Oh, yeah. Steamy shit.
All right. Anyway, hope everybody's having a great 2019 so far, and it only gets better. And we'll see you guys on the next one. See ya.